guys, welcome to my channel. My name's Ovi. So sorry, it's been a very long time. I'm finally back, and it's my winter break, so I wish you all a very happy Christmas. And last year I went to New York, and I saw the Statue of Liberty, and ever since I've been really interested in it. And so the other day when I was in the library, I gave you a tour of that, I saw this book, and I'm like, that's mine. And so today we're going to be reading that book. It's called Her Right Foot by Dave Eggers, art by Sean Terry. So let's get started. Her right foot. You've likely heard of a place called France. And if you have heard of France, you may have heard of the French. They are people who live in France. You may have also heard of something called the Statue of Liberty. Did you know that the Statue of Liberty comes from France? This is true. This is a factual book. One day, a Frenchman named Edouard de Laboy had an idea. The idea was to celebrate the 100 years the United States of America had been around by giving them a giant sculpture. So he convinced another Frenchman, a Frenchman with an Italian last name, to design the sculpture. This artist's name was Frederick Auguste Bartholdi. Bartholdi designed the statue. He first made very small models of the sculpture, then larger ones, and finally the one that is the one we know, which stands 305 feet above the water. This final size, full-size version was covered with a thin copper skin. The skin is about as thick as 2 pennies. That is not very thick. Here is a rendering of Bartholdi and his team. He had a team. He did not work alone. He did not like working alone, constructing the statue's hand. Notice that the hand is bigger than these men. Thus, they made the statue in many parts. These parts were assembled in New York City. No, wait. First, they were assembled in Paris. Did you know this? Ask your friends and even your teacher if they knew that before the Statue of Liberty was assembled in New York, she was first constructed in Paris. Your friends and teachers will be astounded. They'll be impressed. They might think you're fibbing. But you're not fibbing. This really happened. The Statue of Liberty stood there high above Paris for almost a year in 1884. After assembling the statue in Paris, they took it apart. But we just put it together, the workers said. That is absurd, they said. They said all this in French, the language of the French, a people who appreciate the absurd. In 1885, after they took it apart, they put the parts in 214 crates and put these crates on a boat. The boat was called Isabelle. The boat traveled over the Atlantic Ocean and made its way to a city called New York, which is in a state also called New York. Hundreds of workers, perhaps 114 of them, took the pieces out of the 114 boxes and began to rivet the pieces together, assembling the statue. It took 17 months, and it all happened in what was then called Bedloe Island. Bartholdi liked to see the sculpture rise above the harbor. Sometimes he watched the construction from the water. Sometimes he watched it from the land. Usually, he was wearing a sturdy black hat, for he, like most European men of all time, favored sturdy black hats. You may have noticed by now that the picture of the Statue of Liberty in these books have her color brown. You may have thought the illustrator of this book was not so good at his job, because we all know that Statue of Liberty is to be a certain greenish blue. But the Statue of Liberty was made of copper, and copper starts out brown. Then, very slowly, when left outside for long periods of time, copper will eventually oxidize. And when it does, it turns into this bluish-green color. So the Statue of Liberty that everyone in New York saw be constructed was actually brown. The Statue of Liberty, in fact, was brown for about 35 years. The statue turned green around 1920 and has been this color ever since. Perhaps you already knew this. And you may have known that the book the statue is carrying, the one in her left hand, features a date, July 4th, 1776, on which the Declaration of Independence was signed. And you may know that the 7 spikes on her crown represent the 7 seas on earth, the 7 continents, and the sun's rays too. And you probably know that the torch she carries is a symbol of enlightenment, lighting the path to liberty and freedom. And you might have known that at one point, Thomas Edison, inventor of the light bulb and the record player, once proposed to have a giant recorder player inside the Statue of Liberty. He did. He wanted the statue to be able to speak. In the end, though his idea was considered a bit strange and was not pursued. And did you know that the interior of the statue was designed by another Frenchman by the name Eiffel? That's right, the same Eiffel who a few years later would design the Eiffel Tower. And did you know that while this statue was first being constructed in Paris, a bunch of Parisians, mostly writers, they like to eat, actually dined in the area just below the statue's name. This is true. While the statue was rising, Bartholdi set up a lunch 4 stories up to impress and enthrall these French writers, who, being difficult to impress and enthrall, were at least mildly amused. But there's one thing that you might not know, and is the central point of this book. A point the author apologized for taking so long to get to. The point is that even if you have seen a picture of the Statue of Liberty, or many pictures of the Statue of Liberty, or even hundreds of pictures of the Statue of Liberty, you probably have not seen pictures of her feet. And even if you have seen pictures of her feet, you probably have not seen pictures of the back of her feet. In particular, her right foot. What do you notice when you see this picture? That's right. She's going somewhere. She's on the move. Let's pause here and collect ourselves and think about this. Let's discuss this. Let's think about and discuss the fact that this is the largest sculpture in all the land, most iconic symbol of the United States of America. Let's talk about the fact that this statue has welcomed millions of visitors and immigrants to the USA. People talk about her unusual headwear. They talk about her gown, which seems a very heavy kind of garment and would likely result in serious lower back issues. They talk about her beautiful torch and the severe look on her face. But no one talks about the fact that she is walking. This 150-foot woman is on the go. Every time we see the Statue of Liberty in pictures, or any time we imagine the Statue of Liberty, we see her standing still, very still, like, well, a statue. But she is moving. She weighs 450,000 pounds and wears a size 879 shoe, and she is moving. How can we have all missed this? Or even if we saw this and noticed this, how is it that we have seen and noticed a 450,000 pound human on her way somewhere and just said, just another 150-foot woman walking off a 150-foot pedestal? And most important, where is she going? Is she going to Soho to get a panani? Or is she going to the West Village to look for vintage Nico recorders? No, she's facing southwest. So she's facing New Jersey. Could she be going to Trenton? Wait, no, she's facing southeast. So she's not going to New Jersey, but she's going somewhere. But where? Why is she moving? There are 30 things we know. We know that around her feet are chains. They are broken chains, implying that she has freed herself from bondage. We know that Bartholdi wanted us to know this. He wanted us to see the chains. People have talked about the chains. But if you talk about her foot that is so obviously in mid-stride, about the fact that her entire right leg is in mid-stride, what does this mean? What does this mean that we often forget about this right foot, this right leg? Here is an idea. Here's a theory. Here's a reminder. If the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of freedom, if the Statue of Liberty has welcomed millions of immigrants to the United States, then how can she still stand? Liberty and freedom from oppression are not things you get or grant by standing around like some kind of statue. No, these are things that require action, courage, and unwillingness to rest. The Statue of Liberty was not built to welcome just 1,886 immigrants from Italy on one certain Sunday in, say, 1886. No, she was built to welcome 3,000 immigrants from Poland the next day. The next day, 5,000 Norwegians. After that, 10,000 Glaswegians, then Cambodians and Estonians, Somalis, Nepals, Syrian, Liberians. It never ends. It cannot end. After all, the Statue of Liberty is an immigrant too, and that's why she's moving. This is why she's striding. In welcoming the poor, the tired, the yearning to be free. She's not content to wait. She must meet them in the sea. The end. I hope you like this book. Please like, share, subscribe. Have a very safe, happy Christmas and New Year. Thanks for being with me. Bye-bye.